It's Mike, Soul Religion Dystopia, known versus belief. Now, I guess I'm gonna share with you some insights and some of this, I guess, the spiritual realm. How to find them, I guess. I don't know what this is all about, really. All I know is they're really easy to find once you know where to find them. In fact, you can find them in your neighbor's yards, which I'm going to demonstrate. These are images that I filmed from my porch. This first image is not in my the yard where I live, but it's in a neighbor's yard behind me. There's a couple things I want to point out as we go on with these things. These large branches in which I don't recall them being treated. What was interesting about these large branches that were cut off, you can see where they were cut. They are like, well, this is what I'm seeing, what they're kind of behaving as. It almost is like people talk about portals. Well, one of the things is, like I noticed, because like these spirits don't like dry places. They don't like dry places, and they like the trees, right? You always find seeing images of quote unquote Bigfoot, Dogman, or around trees and shrubs and all that. Because trees and shrubs and all that are, believe it or not, got more water in them than we do. So they don't like dry places. But strange things happen around these openings. It's almost like a portal, if you will. I don't even know why that's necessary, but something strange happens. You'll see in this one in particular. This one, it freaks me out every time I go look in the back from my porch, because this thing, it actually has something that a lot of people would call pareidolia, but man, it changes. But there's something going on in this picture that you probably can't see. I'm going to. But this is only the beginning of a very cool exercise. So this is at 100% magnification. So I'm going to bring it up. You can see that there's a light, right? A street light. I believe that's in the. I don't know if it's on. It's the other side of the street or it's right next. Anyways, there's a street that runs parallel. I don't know if you can see a head yet, but I'm going to show you the head. And it's a perfect example of how these entities, these spirits, and you can do this at night, and this is what, 5:30. Starting to, the sun is in the western horizon, so starting to hit some shade and all that. The trees have been warmed up enough, charged up, if you will, battery, whatever. There is, you can start to see something, and I will help you see it clearer as time goes on. But there's actually a head right here starting to manifest. I'm also going to talk and show you a little bit of how these entities, these larger entities, always have smaller entities attached to them. Because actually, there's an entity attached to it. You can see it's not any leaves doing it, and you'll see there's a different texture to it, slightly different color to it. You got this thing going on here as well, but I'm not going to be focusing on him. But it's I should have, I guess. Because the reason why I didn't want to is because there's leaves in the way, so that you could say, oh, there's a pareidolia. But there is an entity going on here, and if you can see real closely, it's got a muzzle, and an eye, and an eye, and it's got this little dude. These things right here are not its ears, Those are leaves. But there's a head right here with another muzzle and two eyes. Some people might call these things dogmen. I don't know if that's really the case. But they certainly got a doggish look about them. You know, it's interesting. Ezekiel in the book of Revelation, regardless of whether you believe it's true or not, describes angels as shape-shifting, if you will. And one's, you know, the side of a man's face, and then one of an eagle, and then another one an oxen, and then another one of oxen, eagle, man. What's the fourth one? My mind just went a blank. Lion. Lion. Like a lion. Anyways, we'll see where I go from there. So, with a little tweaking of it, with just some of the highlight and the contour, you can start to see better. This is the original photo. This is just tweaking a little bit of the contour, contrast, and lighting, and you can start to see a little bit better the eyes. There's the muzzle. It's got a bit of a brow right here, and it's got these little guys right here. Now I know it's hard for you to believe and accept it. I don't blame you. There's an example. This is so strange the way that looks. It reminds me a lot of the times that I've seen them black, the Bigfoot. They got this kind of, that's kind of a blurry image. Let's see if we can. So there's that guy. I got an even better one. It's going to really blow your mind. You see this there? Oh yeah, here's Mercy. It's almost like the eye of Siren, isn't it? It's just this crazy thing, and it's, man, it gives me the heebie-jeebies at times. But I remember when I see these guys, this Bigfoot and all that, they always have this kind of, when they're black, this kind of, it's like electrostatic. It was fascinating. There's actually a head in here. There's things that just come out of this stuff. I don't know, man. It's crazy, isn't it? So that's that. You can see a better. In particular, there's the eye. There's the iris, the eye, and there's a little bit of the brow, the nose. And there's this little thing. He's got two eyes. See where I'm at with this. Okay. This is worth watching. So here's a better example. This is the big one right here. This is the little one. There's the two eyes. There's one of his eyes. A different contrast and that kind of stuff. And you can see that it has even a different texture than the tree and all that. It's fascinating watching this too, because it's really this, like, it almost like these are the two eyes of some entity, but actually this is a nose to this smaller entity that's attached to this bigger entity. What's even weirder is that you can barely see it, but there's actually a smaller entity along with it. But there's always a smaller entity on a bigger entity. Now this thing is crazy, this tree that this portal is, because this is where people might accuse you of having pareidolia. But right here, and different times of day, these eyes, where these eyes are, it gets so black. But you can kind of see it, He's got this weird look like, oh no, it just got me, caught me. But far from it. This, you see the slowly the eye starting to manifest, the head starting to manifest out of the tree. And then there's like entities right here, if you look closely. I haven't done much to the picture. I didn't do anything except just crop. Let's see where am I at with this. Just go back here. Before I go to the... So here it is. So this is there. Once again, the example. That's the original photo. This is lighting up a little bit so you can be able to see the eyes a little bit. You get this weird... It's coming out of the tree is what it's doing. And then boom, there you got the two guys. And these leaves almost make it look like it's got ears, but there's two eyes, and it's got a muzzle, and that's got a muzzle. Might want to call it Dogman, I don't know. But what's even cooler, so that day, it was like yesterday, I guess. No, it would be 2 days ago. I tried to go out in the field, but I was feeling so terrible. And I was driving around just in the neighborhood because I was seeing it, because there's a lot of stuff to share. And, you know, damn this thing, everything I tried to record, none of it got recorded. Like something didn't want me to be out there in the field recording. And field for me at this point is driving in my car and just, at best, struggling to get out of the car with my camera and to film, because the MS is so bad for me. But the next thing is, and this is just will blow your mind away. This is just to give you an idea. This is across the street. I'm filming from my porch. Use my P900. This is a telephone pole. The end of the property that I live at, this next to this road, is a house across the street. There's this big tree that's about 30 to 40 feet tall. Then you got these taller pine trees behind it. You see there's a house there. Actually, there's a house here, and there's another house there. So it's behind this house, and it's about half block away. So, anyways, this tree is like 40 feet. So I just want to show you this for reference. But I always get this feeling there's something looking at me over here, and I'll be damned, there is something looking at me. But it ain't what you and most people will think. And you think, well, it's going to be the Bigfoot, right? I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it at all yet, but just to give you an idea, and but there's a big spirit looking at me. And the only thing you can see is his eyes. And you'll see this iris. And its eyelid. And it's behind this big tree that's about 30 to 40 feet tall. Which will give you an idea of the size of this thing. Do you see it? Do you see the eyes? There's two eyes. I've never filmed things that I film here. Some of these entities are so massive. Well, there's an eye right here. There's the iris. There's the eye. There's the eyelid. There's a little crease to it. And there's another one right there. And it ain't pareidolia. It ain't pareidolia. There's some other entities and all that in there. But, you know, if my fingers, if you can't see how special this is and what it is, I don't know what's going to help you. But if you cannot accept, okay, first of all, you're going to have to answer a couple questions, because it does not fit this tree. The pine tree, the branches. There's a big And here's another thing. This is what I wanted to do. I want to show you because I took several pictures of the same location, and it's not there every time. So this is where it's at. First example, if it was pareidolia, it would be somewhere near you to see it being reproduced somehow, right? This one, there is almost an eye right here, right? Like it's being shifty or moving. So this is another one that was taken earlier. So the eye or something should be around here. What's fascinating about this one, though, I captured some spirits lining up along this very long, very, very high this stuff and all that, but it's it's so blurry that I can understand. No one's gonna really cares, but it's huge and it's far away, at least 100+ yards away. This is the next one, which is 2070, image 2078. So this should be an eye here. There's nothing. There's almost, so you could, not really, you can't see it. By the way, I'm taking these pictures with a tripod, so I'm not shaking around. This is some interesting things. Are these shadows starting to manifest, and the faces and all that. But that's the neighbor across the street, high tree. And now this is the image, and in this image is where the eye finally, the face starts to show. And there's that damn freaking eye. I'm not saying it's a Bigfoot. Far from it. What I am saying is we're dealing with a spiritual realm. Just as wiser people than us are telling us. The Watchers? Are these part of the Nephilim? Are these the ones, because the Nephilim, what happened with them is their spirits are trapped here. Are these the angels that I asked God to pray to watch over me? Because I've been praying for him, and you've even heard, to watch over my neighbors, my neighborhood, my family. I mean, my son in particular, even his nasty mom that treats me like a pile of crap. And the neighbors treat me like a pile of crap. Is this what because I asked him to protect us. I asked God to loosen his angels to do it. And here's the thing about God's angels. God's angels don't look anything like what the Roman Catholics try to convince you they look like, and the Mormons try to convince you to look like. Far from it. As we learn from Ezekiel and also from the book of Revelation, the four beasts, the four angels, they had wings, and once, like a shifting type thing. Once you see this head of a man, and then one side's the head of an ox, the next side's the head of a lion, another one's the head of an eagle, and yeah, they're very representative of the culture, society, and structure of what was going on, the power structure, if you will, of Israel back then. But you can see that this thing is, it's even its coloration, and you can see that if it was blurry and me moving around, here's the giveaway that you wouldn't see the detail of these leaves. In particular right here, because my camera is being focused, and it's being focused in right there, and It's got facial recognition on that P900 as well, so it's constantly looking for that facial recognition. If you notice, it's like he's got these squares and they're all moving around trying to find it until I found something that, well, it was a face, an eye, two eyes. So my point in all this is that the spirits are everywhere. And, you know, I filmed that ravine across from Kroger's. If I could find that image again. I was spending a lot of time finding it because I shared it already. Remember that one? And it's blurry and all that, but it's gray. And it is over the car. Let me see if I get a better picture. It's right there. And this is in the afternoon, and of course you see the sun beating on it. And well, there it is. Massive. If it's a Bigfoot, it's a 30-foot high Bigfoot, a 30 to 40-foot high Bigfoot, which I don't believe it is at all. It's a spirit, and this has multiple spirits in it. But the more you magnify it, the more it gets blurry. But I guess it was my point in all this. I guess my point is that these things manifest out of the trees. And the point number two is you don't have to go very far to find them. And here's another thing too, you know, I'm one of these people that really, really believes in God. Really, 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 really believe in the Lord of all spirits. And it's real easy for me to find these things. And I think it's, I don't know what it is, but I know, is there some reason that God wants me and others like me to share the truth with you guys? That what we're dealing with is spirits. And to expose the pervasive, all-encompassing everything that they talk about as a lie. The lie about like Bigfoot and all that is some monkey man. These spirits, folks. For some reason, they don't want you to know that. They want to convince you, brainwash you, deaden you that spirit man, spirit woman that's inside you of a greater reality, and put all your faith in a pope and their sick, twisted cults and their religions in order to exploit you and to justify all sorts of horrendous things like eugenics and war and stealing from people so that they can live their lavish lifestyles. It's interesting too, there seems to be many people start to realize, who start to pursue the truth, is that they have some kind of the responsibility. They're allowed to hide the truth in plain sight. As long as they hide the truth in plain sight, then I guess the onus and responsibility is on you and I. And most people, because we were so corrupted, we pursue just the things of this world, this material, the world of the flesh, that we don't want to spend any time pursuing the spiritual realm, and that would eventually lead you to the Lord of all spirits. And that has nothing to do with religion. They got you convinced so much that to hate the Lord of all spirits through their religion, through their rites and rituals, for their abuse and their judgmentalness, and they're traumatizing us that you just don't even believe in them. Or you make up your own little thing. Well, I would tell you, these things are a lot. And I mean, I didn't go anywhere. I told you I was just on my front porch. I just decided, I feel like someone's watching me. So we filmed a couple things in the backyard, and I filmed a couple things in the. Well, a couple things. Yeah, I mean, and I didn't go all over the place. Didn't have to do much of anything. Didn't have to be out in the country or on some big opening. And I swear to God, look at that thing. It looks like the Eye of Siren, doesn't it? It's the most wildest thing, isn't it? And it's massive. Well, not massive, but it's big. It's a lot bigger than people might be able to recognize. So that's that spirit manifesting out of the tree above the street lamp. And then there's this dude, and you can see like this big puckered up mouth, like, oh, did I get caught? Did he see me again? Man, when he gives me the evil eye, man, or this real evil look, there's times when this thing, it changes, literally. I don't know if I'll be able to get a chance to film it, but you can almost see the white of the eyes. These are not, that is not a leaf right here and here. And it's weird, because if you look at it closely, you say, man, that's pareidolia, and rightfully so. I would have no problem with you saying that, except for one thing. This thing changes. And I know a lot of other people experience something similar. That mouth changes. And you can almost see this one here, how the mouth kind of, well, this might be an extension of how I cropped the picture. And there's the big, seems like we have this thing in where I live, or this, and I've seen this thing before. Actually, Jerry Klein filmed something very similar to a spirit, and we called it Dog Man. And it's fascinating, that little story there. Him and his dog, dude, he couldn't even see it. It was literally 10 feet from him on the side of the bank. Dog's barking it. Well, the dog probably saw it, because the dog was barking his head off. And Jerry couldn't figure out what it was, because Jerry's chasing after a monkey, a gorilla man. That's crazy. It's pareidolia there, right? Or is it? There's the example. There's the eyes that I was showing you earlier. I mean, it's so blatant. There's a spirit manifesting, and it's massive, and it's got two eyes. For those who don't see it, I don't blame you. But it's just, this whole thing, This thing is just, this tree has had so many weird things manifest out of it. That's my point in all this, once again, is that you don't have to go all over Timbuktu or be this great adventurer to find these things. Now, are they Bigfoot? No. Is there a spirit entities that look like some, monkey man thing? Yeah. Absolutely. But you can start to find these things really, and there's some of these ores manifesting. And no one's smoking. I didn't smoking. And there's no humidity. Yeah, there's power lines here, and you can see that. And there's something to do with power lines and ores helping to manifest. But it has nothing to do with that electromagnetic halo that goes around these. Because you can actually see them with your eyes. You'll see like a 12-inch circle of this electromagnetism running through around. It seems like a giant tube of electromagnetism surrounding each one of these power lines. But this thing is like, once again, it's like 3 feet from me, and it's starting to manifest. And along with his little spirit buddies, you know, they're moving around. There's some of them, different colors and all that. They're not stars, they're not planets, they're orbs, and it's not dust, and it wasn't raining, and it's, there it goes again. And so my point in doing all this is not that there's anything special in me. That thing's just weird as all get out if you really look at it. And there's no, only thing I use with that camera is a flash. And so there's no like nighttime thing, this, that, and the other, right? There's no infrared or anything like that. I just use a flash. That flash brightens things up. And it's interesting when I do that too. Like if I do like 20, 30, 40 pictures at the same location, sometimes they show, other times they like just go away and then they come back within a matter of minutes. But they're all over the place. I mean, you can see these things. I mean, these are not stars, and the different brightness and all that kind of stuff. But it's right. It's right. I'm filming it right from my freaking front porch, folks. There's definitely something going on here too that's very transparent and translucent. Right there. I haven't done anything to this picture. The only thing I did to this picture is I cropped this section out of the larger picture. I did not tweak the coloring, the contrast, the lighting, or anything. And you can blatantly see, if you so choose to see, an eyeball, an eyelid, the crease for the eye. This is, it doesn't, you know, I don't think that was some type of nose. So you can see the you know what you have there, the eye duct or whatever that is. And then there's another one here. You don't have to believe it, and I don't blame you if you don't believe it. But I challenge you to go out and do it for yourself. There is some kind of entity here too that just comes transparent. You can, if you, I mean, it's going to get kind of distorted. You can get really distorted, but there's actually 2 eyes here. There's something going on right here. Spirit, a lot of spirit. There's a lot of spirits, actually. You really look. Well, you can clearly see the eye and the iris. There's the other one, and it has nothing. And it's not part of the trees, and it's not part of the branches. And all I can say is they're everywhere. All right, this is May the 13th that I've. No, that would be May. When did I film this one? I filmed this on May the 11th. Both of those images, the one that looks like a dog man or kind of, I don't know, it was just kind of canine kind of look to it. It was a little thing attached to it. So I filmed both of these in the same evening within a matter of, I don't know, I was just hanging out. Let's see, me and my son went grocery. It was Wednesday, grocery shop, and then that's it. And then I sat in my porch and put the thing on the tripod, and it's important to have the tripod because, you know, if the camera and all that, it's impossible to stay still, especially the longer you film. So for the tripod, it's very stable. You just focus into it. And you let the camera do its facial recognition thing until it finds something. It's just is what it is. This world is covered with spirits. You're a spirit in a meat suit right now. There's the Lord of all spirits. If you want to see these things and interact with them for eternity, make sure you find out who the Lord of all spirits is. And that means you're going to have to do the thing that most of you are resentful of and don't want anything to do, and that is actually spend time studying the words on the pages of what is it called? The 66 books of the Bible. And the 66 is another hidden in plain sight message of when it finished. There's a 66 date. So they give you all these messages, and all it's clear, but most people don't want anything to do with this. So don't think if you think it's all about religion, then you have missed the point completely of what the collection of those books are about. And that's probably because you didn't bother to read it. You just passed judgment on it based on religion itself, the hypocrisy of other human beings, and all the other things that are associated with man-made constructs called religion. Well, that book makes it very clear. There is no religion. It's just whether you want to have a personal relationship with the Lord of all spirits or not. And if you don't, then you could be chasing men in monkey suits.
You're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind.
If you don't know, you should take it.